listen up, bro. In today's day and age, we're living in a time of information overload. And this is due to technology allowing us to access a wide variety of different wisdom, knowledge, and resources that can really help us on our path, but may also deter us from becoming our best version of ourselves. So without further ado, let's break this bitch down real quick like a brick for y'all. Now, when I'm talking about information overload, you already know about it. You've already gone through it. You've already experienced it firsthand for yourself. Whether that's through social media, whether that's through books, whether that's through podcasts, all these different medias and forms of knowledge and wisdom can really just overwhelm your brain and overwhelm your mind and overwhelm your overall thought processes, because it's so much information condensed into these types of things that are coming from all different angles, and you don't know how to actually sift through them properly and apply which ones are gonna actually help you in your life. You go from this video to that video, from this podcast to that podcast, from this book to that book, on and on and on and on and on again. I've gone through this, you've gone through this. Let's keep it 100, man. This is just what it's like to be in the modern world today. Information overload. And while it can be advantageous for us to tap into all these types of things, because there's a good quote about things like books, videos, and podcasts, is that you can condense decades into days. You can condense all the information this person went throughout their life and take it in that book in a couple of days. And that's great. But at the end of the day, you still need to walk your path. You still need to go on your mission. You still need to fulfill your duty. Yes, we're all connected, but we all have different roles, different avenues, different things that we are here to accomplish. Think of it like a symphony, an orchestra. Like, they're all playing one song, yet everyone's playing a different note, everyone's playing a different instrument, everyone's playing a different role in this whole musical melody. Same thing happens with life. And when you are in a state of information overload, you become the person that's in that orchestra or in that symphony that can't keep up with everyone, because they're trying to learn how to do the drums, they're trying to learn how to do the saxophone, they're trying to learn how to do the violin, they're trying to learn how to do the guitar and sing at the same time. Those are some of those are not your roles. I'm not telling you to limit yourself to anything, but I'm telling you right now that if you just keep adding on information, you're not gonna know where to go, you're not gonna know what to do, because you're gonna be in a state of paralysis by analysis. You've most likely heard that saying, and this is what the modern day is basically revolving around, especially when it comes to the sphere of self-improvement and bettering ourselves. There's so much information out there, there's so much knowledge out there, yet you keep looking for answers outside of yourself. And while that may help you, it still is not going to help you get to the core answer you're looking for. Because at the end of the day, like I've talked about so much on this channel, everything that you essentially take from maybe videos like this, maybe videos on my main channel, whether you're in the Patreon, shout out to the fucking Patreon. If you want to tap in, get access to exclusive content, full guides, in-depth occult lectures, monthly masterminds where you hop on live calls with myself, as well as our Philosopher's Circle, a group of like-minded men who are also on this journey. Then tap in to the links posted in the pinned comment of this video. You can see all that good stuff, whether that's one-on-one consultations, booking applications to personalized coaching. All that stuff is going to be posted in the pinned comment of this video. But all these types of things, books, podcasts, videos, are essentially tools, essentially kind of like signs. Like if you ever go on a road trip, you have the map and you know where you want to go, yet you're going to look at some signs and you're going to look at some signals that are going to tell you, oh wait, maybe this is a detour, oh wait, maybe this is going to be quicker. All these things are just signs. They're just tools to help you get to wherever you want to go in a quicker, more efficient, and more streamlined way. That is what my message is about. That's what my brand is providing you guys. Tools to go out and find the answers that you already have within. Because if you really take the time to sit in silence, not external silence only, but internal silence, you're going to be able to tap in to the stream of consciousness that brings you right to the answers that you need at that moment. Everything you need to succeed is already within. Yet there's so many blockages, there's so many things in the way that are holding you back from those answers and from that ability to tap into that stream of consciousness where essentially God is speaking to you, because God only speaks in silence and the voice is not audible, it's felt through the soul. Then you finally are able to see the vision clearly, feel the vision for what it is, and understand what you need to do at that very moment. Yet there's so many distractions and temptations within this world that also fall into this information overload. And these are things that are gonna degenerate your progress mentally, physically, and spiritually, whether that's porn, whether that's fast food, whether that's just social media, whether that's these distractions that you're trying to fit in with the society, and all these types of things. They're kind of like walls in between you and that source of knowledge, that inner gnosis. Shout out to the school of gnosis, the divine knowledge that's already within you, which is an emanation from God speaking directly to you. A lot of people have that cut off. A lot of people have that wall in the way. And they keep looking, they keep essentially hitting that wall and then looking externally for the answers that they really are seeking, that's inside, past that wall. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, they're seeking for that knowledge that's already within them, yet there's a wall, so when they hit the wall, they turn around and look externally. Imagine you're going on a road trip and Google Maps is telling you, you gotta go on this road, you gotta go this path. But there's a blockage, there's someone had an accident, there's some construction going on. So you turn around and then you go looking for different directions. You're looking for different avenues to get there. And those avenues aren't exactly where you wanted to go. I wanted to go to Houston, Texas, but there's a whole blockage to get to Houston, Texas. That's my own mind blocking me from it. So I'm just gonna go to San Antonio. I'm gonna go to Dallas. I'm not gonna go to where I actually wanted to go and where I've always meant to go. A lot of people are in this cycle. They make a little progress with whatever it is that they're trying to pursue. They keep looking for external knowledge that gets them to gets a ball rolling for them, gets them a little momentum, points them in the right direction, yet they hit the wall and then they go back to that thing, and then they come back to the wall and they go back to that thing, they come back to the wall. It's a cycle, it's a negative feedback loop. That's why these tools that I provide you, that other channels provide you, that other sources of knowledge and wisdom provide you, are just gonna help point you in the right direction. You gotta be able to essentially break through that wall yourself through the practices that we give you, through the practices like meditation, pranayama, subconscious reprogramming, understanding your psychology, being more aware of your environment, how you're being programmed on a day-to-day basis, how society is essentially psychologically enslaving you. The video I just talked about recently on this channel. You got to understand these types of things. Then you got to understand and implement the tools that we give you to break through it. Use the jackhammer, use the pickaxe, use the forklift, just break through it. Because when you break through that barrier, when you break through that conscious wall, you get right to the source of everything that you need. Everything, all the answers that you're looking for externally are right there. And this is something that, if you want to take it on a deeper level, on a psychological and evolutionary level, we grow up dependent to our parents. We grow up dependent to our schools, dependent to society, dependent to other people. So we are programmed as kids to look externally for answers. Mom, can I do this? Dad, can I do this? Teacher, can I go to the bathroom? Think about that, man. When we were kids, we used to ask the fucking teacher to go take a piss. You had to go externally to get the answers that you need already. Yes, go outside, take the piss. Your biology and your body is already telling you that. I'm telling you, the answers that you're looking for are already within. Your body and your mind connects the dots so clearly that you can never imagine. It's so technologically advanced that your conscious mind can't even comprehend. Yet subconsciously it knows it on a deep level. Like, that dependency is gonna always linger with you unless you finally come across a video like this, come across some type of knowledge and wisdom that's gonna finally snap you out of it, that's gonna give you the tools to go into your own psyche, like I've done for myself, and actually decompartmentalize things for what they truly are. Not letting this attachment to external resources and external sources of knowledge limit our potential. Because if you look externally for things, even if you want to take it another level, like religion, philosophies, faiths, you are asking somebody else to give you the answers that they got from seeking within. All the religions, all the philosophies, all these things are great. They're tools, again, at the end of the day, to get you to your own faith, to get you to your own philosophy, to get you to your own, essentially, way of life. They're tools to get you to that point. Yet if you look at them for the end-all, be-all, you look at them as the all-knowing source of everything, then you're limiting your own potential. You're limiting your own ability to access that same type of knowledge, to access that same source that they got it from. Every time you tap into a video like this, or tap into a book, or tap into a podcast, and you're looking for answers, you feel lost, and you don't realize that these people and these sources of knowledge are giving you the tools to go out and find it for yourself, you're always going to be limiting your potential. You're always going to be limiting what you're actually able to access as a divine instrument for God, a divine vessel for God. God, or the universe, or whatever you want to call it, gave you these specific traits and capabilities to be able to phone line and direct call him whenever you need, speed dial him whenever you need, by sitting in silence, the internal silence, because again, God, the universe, or whatever you want to call it, only speaks in that silence, and it's not an audible sound that you hear from that source. It's something that's felt within. That's why all these external things will never get you to that point to actually be able to realize and understand the type of knowledge and information that you need at this very moment. Like, there's been so many times in my life where I've been scrambling to look for different types of information externally to help me out in the situation I'm in right now. I've been looking, should I do this, should I do that, blah, 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 blah. Yet when I finally just detach from it all, because I have an intuitive feeling that, bro, just put your phone away, put your books away, put all this knowledge away, and sit the fuck down in silence, and I'll show you what you need. I had that intuitive feeling. I go out and do it, and guess what? Everything makes sense. Everything makes sense. I'm not saying you become a genius where you know everything in the world, you become like God, but you tap into that piece of God that's within you. You tap into that God, that inner guru, that inner guide that's going to give you the information that you're looking for, because it's connecting the dots behind the scenes in your subconscious mind that you don't even realize. You don't even realize how much your subconscious mind can connect the dots for you and work in your favor if you actually, first of all, deprogram all the junk that you've been programmed throughout your childhood and reprogram it to make it an ally for you rather than an enemy. A lot of people, their minds are basically enemies against them because somebody else has hijacked it from them. So I said, society is psychologically enslaving you. They're putting in certain things into your mind, into your subconscious mind, that's making you act, behave, feel, and think certain ways that are not congruent to your actual purpose in life. They're steering you away from your divine capabilities and steering you away from your actual divine purpose. Yet when you finally take that junk out and put in the proper elements through understanding spiritual concepts and understanding the psychological aspects of yourself and diving into all this information that's really just going to give you the tools to program yourself properly, then you go back into that connection to the source. It's essentially like taking that plug back into the socket. The socket's always there. That electrical charge, that divine charge of information and code is always there. You've just been unplugged from that and plugged into some nonsense your entire life. So you need to deprogram by unplugging, take that information, take that connection and plug it back into the divine source of information, the divine knowledge that can only be accessed from within. That is why I'm prefacing this video by saying, stop looking for external answers. Stop looking for answers outside of yourself. They're just tools to help point you in the right direction. Tools at the end of the day to help you get to that point where you can break through the walls and tap into that information that you already have within, that each and every single one of us already has. So when you go about your life and you're in a rut and you feel stuck, you feel lost, take some time to detach. We are so programmed to think that more is better, more information is better. If I keep watching this podcast, it's going to be better. If I keep watching these videos, it's going to be better. If I keep reading books, I'm going to get smarter and I'm going to know everything and everything's going to be fine. It's good to constantly sharpen the sword, constantly sharpen your mind by hearing other people's perspectives on things to give you a broader sense, a broader outlook on life. Because if you're just narrow-minded and thinking you think only with your own perspective, then you are limiting the potential, again, for understanding the broader aspect of it. So that's good, but at the end of the day, you need to be able to sit back and detach from that stuff. Detach from it for a little bit of time, and then let your mind actually connect the dots together. It needs some time to let these things marinate in their in its psyche. It needs it to kind of cook, like let yourself cook, you know what I mean? Stop trying to do microwave answers. You throw in a podcast into your ear and you think that's gonna boom, microwave is done and you're gonna have all the answers and you're gonna have a perfect meal. A good chef, really good meal takes some time. You need to let whatever meal that you're preparing marinate. You need to let all that seasoning, all that different types of elements that you're putting into that meal actually soak in, and then let it connect, let it come together, let it put it in the oven, let it bake, let it cook. Let yourself cook, let your psyche cook, let your mind cook. You're always worried about getting the answer right there, right now. And you do have the answers, but sometimes take a step back, let that stuff cook for a second in that silence, and it's gonna come back to you in a masterpiece, magnificento. Come on, man, like your mind really is like that, like an oven almost. Now I'm thinking about it. You put all this information in, you put it into the oven, you let it cook, and then something comes out of it. Because let's say I read this book, you read the same book, we put that same information into our own ovens, it's gonna come out in a different meal. It's gonna come out in a different taste. We all have different ways to go about life. We have all different psychologies and inner workings of our own mind that are divinely designed to help us accomplish our purpose, our dharma, our actual duty in life. You have certain innate gifts, physically, mentally, that help your soul, which is all connected, to perform that duty, to sing that note, to play that instrument in the musical symphony of life. If you keep trying to follow somebody else's path and play that instrument and go over their notes, the music and the melody is going to be off. It's going to be off beat. It's going to be off note. It's not going to sound nice. But if you hone in on your skills by tapping into your inner knowledge, your inner wisdom, and your inner gnosis, guess what? That you're not only helping yourself, but you're also helping the overall consciousness of humanity. You're helping to play your part in that role of the musical symphony. You're not stepping on people's toes. You're not making it offbeat. You're not making it off note because you're overloading all this information and thinking that, hey man, if this guy did it, then I'm gonna do it too. Yes, it might point you in the right direction to what practices helped him be so proficient in his skills and proficient in his instrument and proficient in his overall role. But at the end of the day, you got to figure out that role for yourself. The tools are great, but if you don't know the role, you don't know the answers, then what's the point? The tools just get you to that level. The tools just get you to that level. At that point, it's all on you to implement it into your actual life to get you past those conscious barriers, past those walls that are stuck within your psyche. Then and only then will you be tapping into your individualized purpose, individualized goals, and individualized skills that you are gifted to by God. Don't take that for advantage, man. Don't take it for granted. Don't take it for, oh man, like everybody's doing the same thing, so I'm gonna do it. There's levels to this stuff, bro. Everybody's doing the same thing because they're operating at the same level. We are on the path of self-mastery. We're taking it up another notch. We're taking it up another level. So we got to do things to go deeper into our psyche, deeper into the knowledge that's already in us, that's already hidden within. We got to do the due diligence to actually take all that information that we have inside, the treasure we have inside, to allow us to get to the next levels, to actually become a master of the mind, body, and soul. So external resources, external cues, external sources of information are beneficial to you on the path to point you in the right direction, but stop searching and stop seeking so much for it. Again, you were programmed to believe that that's the way to go, but you need to look at it from a third eye, bird's eye point of view. You are making these types of external resources your quote-unquote daddy figures, your quote-unquote mommy figures, your quote-unquote teacher figures. And while life is a teacher, life is a guru, and it can be expressed in many different ways. It could be a guy on YouTube, it could be a book, it could be an experience. But you are the captain of the ship. You are the one that takes the information and directs your life in the way that you want it to go. The more you look to those daddy figures, those mommy figures, those school society figures, those authority figures that have and thinking that they have everything that you need, that they have all the answers, the more that you're letting those sources of knowledge dictate your life. And when they dictate your life, they're gonna make you go down the same path that they went on. And you might be thinking, oh man, I do want to be just like that guy. You were not meant to be like that guy, because if you were, you would have been that guy. You were meant to be you. You were meant to be on your path. You were meant to be on your journey. God, the universe, the Supreme Source did not create you in this unique fashion to act out a specific mission on this plane for the time being for no reason. God don't make mistakes. The universe don't make mistakes. If it really needed you to be exactly like that, it would have made you exactly like that. Come on, man, are you picking up what I'm putting down? People who succeed, they understand this concept. They understand that they pick little pieces from everybody else's philosophy, connect it all together, synthesize it into a way where it can act as a tool to eventually be able to break through into their own source of knowledge. All the greats did that. All the greatest minds, all the greatest inventors, artists, business people, all these people understood this to a T, either consciously or subconsciously. If you look back, success leaves a trail. Success leaves clues that you can trace back, and you can see why they were doing certain things, how they were doing certain things, and what it eventually led up to. Of course, the success that you probably see today. You need to take that same point of view, that same perspective, and that same angle of life and apply it into your own path, into your own journey. And hopefully this video made it click for you to not look so much for external resources of knowledge to guide you on this path. Again, there are tools to help point you in the right direction, and there are tools and practices that will help break through those conscious walls and those conscious barriers that are blocking you from that divine source of knowledge that everyone has access to, yet most people, one, don't know about it, and two, never actually try to tap back into it. Because if you're watching this right now, most likely you weren't raised in a way where you were given this type of information. later on, if you do have kids, I hope to God you will give them this information from a youngin, from the start, from the rip, off the jump, so they can tap into that type of knowledge, tap into that type of information early, and that becomes their default state of being. They don't know what it's like to be programmed and have society run and dictate their life. But for me and you, we already were in that position. So we gotta work overtime, double time. We're getting no extra pay, but we gotta put in that work to actually first deprogram, then reprogram. It takes more time, it takes more effort, it takes more energy. But when you first understand this, when you first let this stuff, again, pause it, close the video after it's done, let it marinate in your mind, and let your subconscious psyche connect the dots, it's gonna make sense to you. Like, damn, man, I've been so dependent on other people's experiences, on other people's thought points, on other people's perspectives on life to help me go about my own life, that I don't even really formulate any of these types of philosophies in my own mind. What's my own vision? What's my own purpose? What's my own ideas of how to navigate this game we call life? I can't be so dependent on other people because, first of all, people and these ideologies are temporary, they're impermanent, they have flaws. Yet that divine source of knowledge and information is eternal, it's infinite, and it is perfect. It's omnipresent, it's omnipotent, because it's not, quote unquote, part of a man, it's part of the divine essence of man. The prophetic part of you. And I'm not saying you have to be some saint, guru, or monk. When you tap into this knowledge, you can become the best businessman in the world. You become the best whatever career path you have in the world. You become the best person and the best version of yourself that you can possibly be on all planes of reality, the mind, the body, and the soul, the mental, the physical, and the spiritual. This is what we're really trying to tap into as men on the road to self-mastery. Self-mastery is mastering all these things to understand that what life really throws at your way can only affect you if you allow it to, can only dictate your life if you allow it to. A man who's truly mastered the mind, body, and soul, who's tapped into this information, who's tapped into that divine source of knowledge, can navigate life effortlessly. They're not even thinking about certain things, yet all these things attract to them. They walk throughout life on a different plane, on a different energy level, on a different intent and intensity. That's what we're striving towards. And external sources of knowledge aren't going to get you to that point. They're going to give you, again, the tools. I always keep saying this, the tools. Everything that I am going to provide to on this channel, with my brand, whether it's on my services, with the one-on-one consultations or personalized coaching, or the private Patreon community courses later on down the line, are tools to help you break through certain blocks and barriers that you have, to help you streamline yourself to that source of knowledge and get you to the answers that you've been always looking for and that have always been within you at all times and will always be there. Okay? That's it. That's all it is. Because those tools have helped me get to that point. So I know if they've helped me, they can help other people. And that's what these people are trying to do, and these hopefully the type of content you're watching are trying to do. They're giving you the tools to get you to that point because they've been there, they've done that. They've gone through the process that you're probably going through right now. We're probably a step ahead of you. We're not better than you. We're not saying that we're looking down on you, but we're saying, hey man, I wish somebody gave me these tools earlier so I can jetpack myself past all these blocks, past all these barriers much quicker, much more efficiently, and much more effortlessly. Because energy, time, and all these things, you want to use them to your advantage. You don't want them to be a quote unquote working against you. You're losing all this energy because you're looking around so many different places. You're losing all this time because you're wasting your time in that moment looking for different external resources. But when you get to somebody and when you get to this type of information that somebody has also applied into their lives, and you take those tools, implement it, and then you see for what it is, you accelerate your progress. You cut down things that maybe would have taken you 6 months into 3. That would have taken you a year into 6 months. That would have taken you 10 years into 5 years. That's what knowledge and information is really all about in this path of self-mastery. Giving you the tools to help get you to that point quicker. They're all still trying to get you to that point where you are tapping into the answers that are already within. But first of all, to get to that point, there's a lot of blockages in the way. There's a lot of blockages in the way. Trust me, I know that. I've been through it, and I'm constantly improving myself to get further and further past other barriers, because once you get past one barrier, it doesn't mean that you get right to the source. There's another wall in the way. And each level you elevate above, there's a new quote-unquote devil, there's a new quote-unquote obstacle, and a new quote-unquote barrier of entry that you need to overcome. And it gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and it gets more difficult and more difficult and more difficult as you go throughout each layer. But you also tap into more of your capabilities as you get back into your core. It's like an onion. It has different layers to it. You peel off this one, it's like the soft layer. It's easy to get out. It's easy to rip off. Then this one gets a little bit more tough. The skin gets more tough, more tough, more tough. Each layer, each level gets tougher, but you're getting closer and closer to the core. That's exactly what you're doing with your own mind when it comes to these types of topics like psychology, spiritual wisdom, even things like semen retention. All these things are formulating your bag, basically, your toolbox, to break through those layers and get to your core, because the core is where everything resides. And that's where you know, quote unquote, the knowledge of self, where you become self-realized, where you become self-actualized. And that is the most fulfilling state of mind that you can be as a man. That's what we're really striving towards. That's what you subconsciously want on a deep level, especially if you truly want to become the best version of yourself and truly live up to your highest potential. Because unless you're self-realized and unless you're actually self-actualized in your being, in your mind, body, and soul, you're never going to really tap into that ultimate form of you, that ultimate level of you. And it's a constant journey, and it's a constant progress, but you got to enjoy the process along the way. So if you're picking up what I'm putting down, man, really let this stuff marinate in your mind. Let your subconscious mind do its magic, work its magic, and connect the dots for you. And you might wake up tomorrow with a big epiphany, a big intuitive download, a universal insight that's coming from that source that helps direct whatever situation it is that you're currently dealing with, because we all are. We're always dealing with some type of challenge and situation, and you got to enjoy that. It's a way to really discover yourself and discover your capabilities. So when you tap into that inner source and you let these things marinate, you might wake up tomorrow with that answer that you've been looking for, and you'll be like, damn, man, it was really that? I felt like I always knew it, because you did always know it. You've most definitely always have had that experience in your life. You're going through a certain problem, you're like, man, what do I need to do to overcome this? And subconsciously you knew. Yet you're like, nah, no way it's that. No way it's quote unquote that easy or that simple or that direct. There's no way I got the answer that quickly. I gotta look externally. I gotta look for some other person to tell me how to do it. And then you go get these tools and stuff, you break through that barrier, and guess what? You find that same answer that you already had. It's crazy, man. It's crazy how life works. It's crazy how the mind works, because, again, the more you become dependent, the more you limit your potential, and basically lower your trust for yourself. You don't trust that intuition. You don't trust your gut, because you have been programmed to to put your trust in other people and other sources, other external outlets. You've been programmed to do that and not listen to that gut, not listen to that instinct that kicks in. And the less you trust that gut and the less you work it out, it's like a muscle. It's gonna atrophy. It's gonna get weaker and weaker and weaker. That's why some people don't even have gut intuitions, don't have gut feelings, because They have neglected it for so long because they've been so dependent to so many people for their entire life that that muscle of intuition, of divine intuition, eventually atrophied. Yet you can still wake it up, bro. If you haven't worked out for years, you can still hop in the gym, work out, and build that muscle back. Muscle memory. They call it that for a reason. And same thing applies to your intuition and to your mind and to the inner source of knowledge and answers that you all have been looking for that resides within. So there it is, man. It's been your boy out here in the field, in the flesh, dropping y'all that game so you guys can make these gains. And I'm out of here. Peace.